Hello and thank you for joining me again for another How to Draw Stuff with me, Calvin Ennis. Okay, we're going to draw another monster today. This time we're going to do kind of a Halloween spooky pumpkin sort of thing. Okay, so first off, as ever, we start off with our guidelines. Now we want to be something like that kind of shape, a bit of a pear. So obviously a lot of pumpkins kind of a little bit more round than this. Can get them kind of growing this sort of shape. This is just a little bit of a nicer shape for this character. We're going to sketch in very loosely 2 triangles for our eyes, and then our mouth is going to come back here. So we want this to be nice and gnarly, kind of all over the place, taking up quite a lot of your monster. And then we're going to add in a tongue on this bit, okay? So these are just guidelines at the moment. We are going to go over these a little bit darker at the end. But for now, so that tongue hanging over there. So that means that these bits you won't be able to see by the time we draw that tongue in. Now, a little line there, and all of a sudden that mouth sort of goes backwards. We've got a little bit of depth to our character. We need to kind of get the shape of our pumpkin here. So draw a little lump there, and from this lump, draw outwards, outwards again, outwards again. You've got the top of your pumpkin. And all of these lines, we can just follow down to create the rough kind of shape of our pumpkin. I want some spooky looking arms on this, so let's, from either side, kind of starting a bit thicker where it joins onto your monster, getting thinner as I go up, put on little elbows there, and coming down either side, getting a little bit wider at the end. I'm going to put the hands on, but don't worry too much about getting these hands right. So you do nice thin thumb out to the side. There's 1, 2, 3. That's all you need for the hands. Thumb out to the side. 1, 2, 3 on the fingers. Now, if you watch my tutorials on how to draw hands, you'll know that your thumb is different from your fingers. That's kind of one of the most important things to remember when you're drawing these. The rest of it, don't really worry about at this stage. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, we're going to add the legs on. So this back leg, just that kind of shape at the back. And what that will give us is a nice little leg that is sort of stepping backwards. Add a bit of a thigh on there. Get the leg further back. Now this one I want to be sort of stepping forwards a little bit more. So we've still got a bit of a thigh. We're going to put a circle on there, and that becomes our foot. 3 little lumps on. That's sort of stepping forwards. So as soon as you put a shadow under there, look, you can see how that foot is stepping forwards. Now these are kind of the basic bits, the main part of our pumpkin. We want to draw the stalk on the top. So again, we want to make this kind of quite sort of gnarly. Let's follow this line up, get it thinner. These are just sort of wobbling all over the place, like you're overlapping, but all of them working towards this point. That way you end up with quite a cool looking little stalk top. Now, I'm going to start going over these in a little bit more detail now. So any of these areas that we want to keep, we're going to go over a bit darker. I'm going to add a bit of detail as we go. So as ever, we start off with these guidelines, and then we go in and sort of refine our character and add in extra bits and pieces as we move along. But that's your basic pumpkin character. There we go. Let's get the eyes in there first. Now we want these to be sort of 3D. So just in here, look, gonna add in a couple of lines, and that's like it just shows you the thickness of the pumpkin there that's been cut away. There you go. Let's put these nice jagged, not teeth so much, they look like teeth, obviously where you would cut it with a pumpkin. Now remember, this tongue is overhanging some of these jagged bits, so we're not going to see all of those. And now, just need to go through and do the same with this look. So some of these areas, we're just adding in the extra bits to thicken them up. And all of a sudden, your pumpkin has a little bit of depth to it. And there we go, back behind. And then we just need the tongue hanging over here. Now as we get down to the bottom of the tongue, let's just try a few little splashes there. Nice little bit of slobber. Let's just shade the inside of the mouth there. Again, you can spend a little bit more time over this than me. There we go. Okay, next, we do want to go over these darker, but these guidelines we've drawn on here that run down the front of the face, we don't really want to make much darker. We want to keep the edges a bit darker, but again, the ones that run down the centre of your face, don't make them too much darker because it's going to distract from all of this kind of character that you've been drawing. Just those bits of thigh there. So again, because that's on the outside edge, go over those just a little bit darker. And then we have our arms. So now our arms, we want to start adding in a bit more detail on these. Mainly just in the way we do the shading, and then I'm going to draw a few more lines up. So all we're going in the same direction, exactly the same as we did up here. Just to make these arms look a little bit more sinewy, a little bit more like the growing, a bit more of a plant. There we go. And then with the fingers, let's keep these really nice and simple for this one. Literally no detail at all on those. Just kind of long, spindly, spooky looking fingers. And then you can do the same thing. Just draw the same direction, just up and down. You've got those little pieces of texture on. Now, if we just shade the beginnings of the arm there, just as they're set further back, again you start to get a little bit of depth onto your character. Now the legs, we're going to do something similar. The legs, just going to, nice and simple, there's 1, 2, 3 little archways on there, and again just draw these little up and down creases. Now this leg's set a little bit further back, so we can stick a little bit of shading on there. With the foot, let's do exactly the same thing. Just a few little marks, up and down creases there. Again, I want to shade the thigh at the back a little bit, but that's about it. Now, going in the same direction as your pumpkin, you can shade a few little lines along the bottom, and you see this just starts to get a little bit of depth to your drawing. Just brings it to life just a touch. While we're up there, let's just make sure you can see that stalk at the top a little bit more clearly. Same thing again, shade the bottom. And we're almost there. We're just gonna mess up a few little bits of this. So these little tufts and marks, don't be afraid of adding these on. The trick is not to go kind of overkill, not to put too many on, but a few little bits and pieces will just add a little bit of interest to your character. And then finally, let's just settle him down there. Add a few bits of shadow, little tufts of grass along the floor, shadow underneath him, and then the last few little specks around him, just to create a little bit of movement. And there you have it. You've got your spooky Halloween pumpkin monster. So thanks for watching, as ever. Really appreciate all the likes and the shares. Keep spreading these videos around, and enjoy drawing your monsters. And I will see you all again soon.